Hey guys, it's Will Kriske here. I just want to talk about hip licks for guitar by Greg Fishman. I've got the saxophone version here. This is an amazing book of licks, and I'm going to show you how I use them over a standard. So let's check that out. So hopefully you noticed that the solo was very melodic, and it's not really just about cutting and pasting licks. I want to make that clear. There's a lot of people who they want to skip the whole phase where you imitate great professional jazz players and get into theory and scales and try to make up their own lines and try to have a unique voice. And I just think that we need to get back to listening and imitating great solos. What I like about this, there's so many things I could say about this, but first of all, these licks reflect the jazz language. And if you want to play, fast lines in the bebop style, you have to get them under your fingers. You have to be able to play them without thinking very much. They just have to come out. And a lot of times people will spend time learning ideas and never really internalizing it and moving on to something else. The book has 168 licks, and it's broken down into 2-5-1s, 2-5s, minor 2-5-1s, minor licks, diminished licks, whole tone licks, diminished 7 flat 9, or dominant 7 flat 9, parallel major to minor, dominant licks, major 7 licks, and there's, for each category, there's 12 licks, one in each key. So if you wanted to just grab a lick and put it in a location, a 2-5-1 or something like that, you could do that for a particular key. But what I do is I learn the lines in all keys. So I learn, even though there's 12 different keys, I'll take those and figure them out in one particular key. And when you want to, once you can play them, your job's not really finished there. You've got to figure out how to get them into your playing and use them in actual tunes. So what I do is I look at the line, I understand it, and I think about how to connect them. For example, in the solo that I did, if you look at All the Things You Are, it starts with a 6-2-5-1. So you've got a 2-5-1 in there, and these lines, like when they have a 2-5-1, there's 2 bars of the 1. So they usually work pretty well over a 2-5-1-4 as well. So the same line, it's the same key. So there you go, you've got pretty much 4 bars right there. And the initial bar, you can take part of the minor 7 of a minor 7 line, take one bar and connect it to one of these 2-5-1s. The other way to go is to repeat part of the phrase, the beginning, or maybe some other part, so that when you play this 2-5-1, you've repeated yourself. There's a bit of development there, and it connects them, or take a bit of a rhythm from a line, and that just connects them in a more cohesive way. The other thing, when I look at these lines, I notice that there's voice leading a lot of times. You'll have some sort of connection of notes in a pattern, in a linear pattern. There's a logic there, and so that helps to understand. If I give you an example, if I play a augmented triad over a dominant 7 chord, the sharp 5 will lead a lot of times down a half step to the ninth of the major 7. So it's really important to notice this, so that if you're taking pieces of lines and that you still maintain some sort of logic. So in conclusion, I highly recommend you guys check out the hip licks for guitar. One of the things I really like is these were derived from saxophone playing. I just find them so melodic. I've listened to a lot of guitar players, and I tend to prefer saxophone just from the melodic nature of the instrument. And these licks fit great on the guitar, but a lot of times they're not exactly what I would play naturally. So it's opened my eyes and my ears to this type of melodic playing. And so I highly recommend. I'm going to put a link in the description, and I highly recommend you guys get this book. And also there's an iPad version if you want to have it for mobility and really spend the time to work on these lines, get them up to speed, use them in your own playing, connect them to some of your other stuff, and to each other, and really, I think it's going to take your playing to a whole new level. And if you do, let me know, and let me know how it's going. Okay, see you guys.